In October 2023, Georgia Gardner and Josh Fishlock set off for a peaceful camping trip to Kangaroo Island, Australia. With them came Valerie, their beloved miniature Dachshund. Small, black and tan with short legs and a fearless spirit, Valerie was family. She had never been in the wild, but she was always curious, always exploring. Kangaroo Island is a wild, rugged place, home to wallabies, kangaroos, snakes, and vast bushland. It's beautiful, yes, but not exactly forgiving. During a walk near their campsite, Valerie vanished. One moment she was sniffing around, tail wagging, and the next, gone. Georgia and Josh panicked. They searched nonstop for 5 days. They shouted her name, left out her favorite blanket, followed tracks, anything. But she disappeared into thick bushland with no trace. Eventually exhausted and heartbroken, they had to make the gut-wrenching decision to leave. Josh later said, "The decision to leave the island was probably the hardest decision I think I've ever made in my life, because we went over there as 3, and we were going back as 2. At home in Adelaide, life moved on, but not really. Valerie's toys stayed on the floor, her bed remained untouched. Georgia and Josh never gave up hope." They'd leaves. But as the weeks turned into months, the silence was heavy. Most people assumed the worst. After all, how could a 10-pound dachshund survive in the wild with predators, freezing nights, and no food? Then, in early 2025, nearly a year and a half later, a farmer on Kangaroo Island saw something unusual. A small black dog wandering through his field. He snapped a photo and passed it along. That photo ended up with Lisa Curran, a local wildlife rescuer. She had heard about Valerie's disappearance and couldn't believe her eyes. "That's her," she thought. "That must be the little Valerie." She reached out to Georgia and Josh. The moment they saw the photo, their hope exploded into action. Lisa and her husband Jared rushed to the area and started setting up motion-activated cameras. Days later, they got confirmation. A tiny black dog walked into the frame, alert, healthy-looking, still alive. It was Valerie. After more than 500 days alone in the wild, somehow, she had made it. But finding her was just the beginning. Now the real challenge began, bringing her home. With confirmation that Valerie was alive, a full-scale rescue mission began. Lisa and Jared Karen, wildlife rescuers with years of experience, knew this wouldn't be easy. Valerie had been in survival mode for over 500 days. She had adapted to the bush, becoming a cautious, stealthy version of her former self. Capturing her would take patience, creativity, and heart. They began by setting up small traps across the area where she'd been seen. These traps were baited with food and familiar smells, but Valerie was clever. Night after night the traps would spring, but instead of a dachshund, they'd catch possums, wallabies, feral cats, and even the occasional kangaroo. Valerie somehow kept avoiding them all. The team didn't give up. Every morning they checked cameras and traps, adjusting the setup based on new signs or sightings. They scoured the area on foot and relied on locals to report anything strange. It became clear that Valerie wasn't roaming randomly. She had a pattern, a territory. She was moving at night, sticking close to certain fields and woods. They set up a large, custom-built pen trap designed just for her. This wasn't your ordinary cage. It had a remote-controlled door, wildlife cameras, and even her old toys inside. Lisa reached out to Georgia and Josh, asking them to send blankets, stuffed animals, and toys that still smelled like home. Valerie's scent memory was their secret weapon. Her humans mailed over her favorite things, and the team carefully placed them in the pen, hoping she'd feel safe enough to step inside. But she didn't, at least not yet. For over a month, Valerie appeared on camera, sniffing around the pen, pacing near it, even lying down just outside the door. But she wouldn't enter. It was like she sensed the trap. It was frustrating, but also amazing. This little dog had survived everything the wild could throw at her, and was still sharp as ever. The team stayed up through the night, monitoring motion alerts, checking feed, adjusting bait, and keeping faith. They weren't just trying to rescue a dog. They were trying to restore a piece of someone's heart. And slowly, day by day, Valerie inched closer. After weeks of near misses and heartbreak, everything came down to one moment. It was early morning, just after 3 a.m., when Lisa's motion sensor pinged. Valerie had entered the trap enclosure again. But this time, something was different. She wasn't nervous. She sniffed around the pen, paced a little, then curled up inside, right on top of one of her old blankets. For the first time, she looked relaxed. Lisa and Jared were watching the camera feed, barely breathing. They waited, not wanting to startle her. After a few minutes, when Valerie seemed calm, Jared triggered the remote-controlled door. Click, slam. The pen was sealed. Valerie was inside. They rushed to the site. Valerie barked at first, nervous, unsure, but then stopped. She looked at them, wide-eyed, tail still, waiting. As they approached, Lisa crouched down and gently said her name. "Valerie, it's okay. You're safe now." Where her looked shaking. Valerie wagged her tail once. It was the moment they dreamed of, the reunion, the relief, the miracle. After more than 17 months in the wild, Valerie was finally going home. She was taken straight to the vet. Everyone expected the worst: dehydration, weight loss, infection, maybe even broken bones. But Valerie shocked them all. She was strong, she was alert, she'd even gained weight. The vet smiled and said, "She's built like a little bodybuilder." No one could believe it. Somehow, this 10-pound house dog had managed to survive predators, hunger, storms, and solitude, and came out tougher than ever. Lisa, Georgia, and Josh couldn't stop crying. Valerie was checked, cleaned, and cleared to go home. A few days later, Georgia and Josh arrived to pick her up. As soon as she saw them, Valerie froze for a second, then ran straight into their arms. The trio that left for Kangaroo Island 17 months earlier was finally together again. Valerie is home. She sleeps on the couch, plays with toys, and acts like she never left. But she's different, calmer, stronger, like she remembers what she survived. Georgia says, "She's the queen of the house. We just live in it." Her story went viral. A 10-pound dog alone for 17 months. It inspired people worldwide. Josh said it best. If a little sausage dog can survive the bush, maybe we can get through our own struggles too. Valerie didn't quit. Now she's home, safe, loved, and stronger than ever. If this story moved you, follow for more amazing real-life tales. See you in the next one.